Welcome to another episode of New to Me. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and today we are doing part 2 of my super duper Godxo review. So today we're going to talk about the barn doors, the gels, and the light stands. First off, let's take a look at the barn doors, and these barn doors are absolutely disappointing. That's right, folks, these things are terrible. First off, when I received them, I actually got the barn doors and the stands first, and then about 2 weeks later got the lights and the soft boxes. That is because this came from their warehouse in California and the other stuff came from their warehouse in China, which, well, they didn't say originally. So when I got the barn doors, as you can see here, this tab is bent. The other one was bent in, so I did manage to take a flathead screwdriver and fix it. So I did bend it back, so I do have a working set of these. But first thing I noticed when I got this is when you open this up, super floppy. That's right, folks, this is absolutely useless. Not only were the tabs on the back bent, but it's ultra floppy, and the other one isn't so good to begin with. They're fairly loose. So that was a big downside. The other downside is you have this very nice honeycomb here. And the honeycomb is not secured very well, as you can see. Plus, it is a very, these are usually made of tin, but this is a very, very cheap tin honeycomb. Also, this tab doesn't really hold it in, as you can see. So, with that being said, let's take a look at the gels, and they unfortunately aren't any better. They are a hard plastic, which I kind of like, but most of them are chipped. The blue one was entirely separated from the frame, and the frames are kind of wobbly. You could easily bend these. They are not of any quality. Also, when you take the film off these, they're scratched up. They're very scratched. So, that being said, I did actually contact the company, and I spent about a month, almost a month, online with the company, with eBay, trying to get this fixed, trying to get some kind of replacements. And they kept coming back to me and saying, well, what about the stands? What about the stands? The stands were never an issue. So they said, okay, send us pictures. I sent them pictures. Then they contacted me again and had me send them more pictures. Finally, I just made a video and sent it to them to show them exactly what was wrong. And that is because I think there was a language barrier, because I think I was dealing with the warehouse in China. Anyway, after all of that, they asked me if I wanted a refund, or if I wanted, for both sets, or if I wanted them to ship out new sets. And let's face it, folks, these are really, really cheap. These were never gonna hold up. So I said, well, I'd like a refund. For both sets, they gave me $20. That's right. 2 sets they equaled the value as $20. Now, if you know anything, these usually start at $24 and go up. And so I really felt that they did not fulfill my my return very well. Long story short, just know that if you purchase these on eBay, you are probably going to have to buy new barn doors and gels and light stands. That is just kind of the deal. You do get a great light, and in part 2, you'll see how much I loved the softbox. But the barn doors are not worth it. If you can get the softbox and the light and forget the stands and barn doors and find it for the same price, then that is awesome. Just know in mind that this was basically free. The stands, the barn doors, all this stuff, the softbox, basically you got the light for $10 less and everything for free. So that's it. Like I said, I did manage to fix one of these, so I do have one that actually works, and they are not as floppy as this. And that's about it. This is actually the second time I've done this video. I actually had to scrap the old video and go into a new video. But now that we've seen this, and of course, I'm not even going to show you how these work, because we are going to cover what I replaced them in. But first, let's go ahead and check out the stands from the last video I made, which is why my shirt will change. Okay, the stand. It's super cheap. This cost nothing for them to ship. It is one of these very cheap stands. In fact, when I got this stand, I didn't believe that it was going to hold the light. Fortunately, it does hold the light. However, if I put the softbox on here, you're going to see some massive bowing of the light. Also, the higher you get it, the more it bows, especially when you have something on the front of this light. So, not really much to be said about the stands. Also, I hate when they do this. I hate when the knobs connect. That is a huge problem. It's super cheap. My advice to you is sell these on eBay, sell these or trade them in for something better, for, one C-stand. I would recommend a C-stand for these lights, especially when you're putting giant softboxes and adapters on this thing. You don't want a weak stand. I'm actually using my Lincolns, which are weighted, and even those bend a little bit when I have the softbox on, so it is a little bit heavier. So I would definitely say with these lights, either a good, solid, heavy industrial light stand, one of those Mambo combo stands, or get a C-stand. But these, not great. When they came, I was like, really? But what do you expect for free? And now let's talk about what I replaced the one set of barn doors with. And I went with the Soon Pro barn doors, and I am so glad that I did. They are $28.99. First off, you get a very nice, even heavier barn door. As you can see, they are a little bit stiffer and they're not as stiff. But the one thing I really love about this is that when you pull the gels out here, here's one of the gels. It is actually gel material, real gel material, not this cheap plastic that I really hate using, but this is real gel, and the frame is much more solid. It's not going to bend. Now you will get scratches on these. They do include a cleaning cloth with it, which is very nice. And you can just wipe, because you do tend to get fingerprints on the actual gel material. So they did include this. And we'll see how well this holds up, but I think I really prefer using real gel material versus that cheap plastic stuff. So there you go. Now, one thing I did know is that the real gel is warping a bit. So that's something to probably contact the company about. But I'm sure this company will not be as difficult as the last company. Now let's talk about the honeycomb grid. It is not coming out, kids. The honeycomb grid is excellent and pops in and out very easily. And as you can see, it has a much better tab on the side. So you just simply pop in the honeycomb grid, which actually stays in. And then in order to pop the light in, you just slide it into these grooves. Make sure I have it going the right way. Here, you will just pop it into the grooves like so, and let the magnets, with a little bit of adjustment, you let the magnets do their job, and it's in. Very, very simple. Now to attach it to your camera, all you have to do is take your beauty dish here, and what you want to do is you want to release this little hook here, like so, and then you just kind of place your beauty dish right in the center here, and then you're going to restore the hook, locking the beauty dish in place, and there you go. Very, very simple to use. So that's it, part 3 of my Godxo review, and my final thoughts are skip the barn doors. If you can find a deal that is just the lights and the soft boxes, maybe some stands for the $149.99, go for that on eBay. Do not get the barn doors or the gels. They are terrible quality. So that being said, that concludes part 2. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, you can drop them in the notes below. Also, don't forget to mash the bell button to be notified when we drop a brand new video. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and this is New to Me.